Okay, time for another scrapbook video. We got an article here titled "Talented Packers Secondary Expects More," and there's a photo of Darren Sharper, Mike McKenzie, and Todd McBride, and so here they are. Yeah, there was a few years where Green Bay had some really good players back there catching all those interceptions. Okay, NFL settles on realignment plan. The NFL realigned itself quickly and amicably Tuesday, skipping the squabbling of the past and leaving even the uprooted teams saying they were satisfied. 5 of the new divisions will have basically the same makeup, and the most drastic step is moving Seattle from the AFC West to the NFC West. We couldn't look at personal choices, said Dan Rooney, president of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who shifted to the AFC when the NFL and AFL merged in 1970. A lot of people wanted a lot of things. I think this is best for everyone. What was best for the league, as it turned out, was a relatively painless shift to 8 four-team divisions for 2002, when Houston will rejoin the league as an expansion franchise. In the same division as Tennessee, which left Houston after the 1996 season. The Seahawks made a token argument against the shift, but said afterward they were delighted. They must have been. The vote was unanimous. I think it's really good for the league, Seattle president Bob Wissett said. It's also good for the Seahawks. The new format is the one that was considered the most likely when the NFL announced almost 2 years ago that it would realign into 8 divisions from the current 6. 5 of the new divisions will have all 4 teams from the old alignment, and another will have 3. The new NFC South, which contains 3 teams from the old NFC West. Each conference will have a North, South, East, and West division, and most of the divisions are relatively compact geographically, unlike the old lineup, which had Arizona in the East and Atlanta and Carolina in the West. In addition to Seattle, the team most affected may be the Cardinals, who move out of the same division with Dallas, the only team to draw capacity crowds in the desert. Arizona owner Bill Bidwell fought hard to stay in the same division with the Cowboys, but said he was happy after the league agreed to a new scheduling format for exhibition games that will retain old rivalries. Another plus for most of the owners is the new scheduling format, under which every team will meet every other at least once in 4 years. There will be 6 home and home divisional games. 4 against There will be 6 home and home divisional games, 4 against teams in another division within a conference, and 4 more against a division in the other conference on a rotating basis. The final 2 games will be against conference teams based on the previous year's standings. The exact format for the playoffs hasn't been decided yet. For the time being, the number of teams will stay at 6 from each conference, the 4 division winners and 2 wild cards. Commissioner Paul Tagliabue has said the league will consider expanding the number of playoff teams to 14. I wonder if that was a typo there. That sounds weird. There will be 6 home and home divisional games. That doesn't sound right. 6 home and home. Shouldn't it be home and away? Maybe 6 home. I don't know. That's what it says. It says there will be 6 home and home divisional games. Okay, well, that looks like a typo. Alright. Divisional dance. Here's a look at the realignment plan that was unanimously approved by NFL owners on Tuesday. The new format starts in 2002. So it's got East, North, South, West for the new AFC and the new AFC. So here it is. So it's definitely not perfect. One thing that irritated me, because it doesn't make sense, is when you see I don't know how common it is in other sports leagues, but like when you see a team, like if you're gonna name it the divisions by like geographic locations, like east, north, south, and west, if you're gonna name them by the geographic areas, you should um, you should put the teams that correspond with that geographic area. So if like they talked about it a little bit, uh, how previously some of the teams it didn't make sense where they were at because of the name of the division. So before it was they had divisions called Central. That's what the Packers were in. So now the Packers division is the North division. They went from Central to North. Okay, so there's mostly it makes sense with the division with the where the teams are in the divisions here. But I think there was one thing like one thing if you switched 2 teams, it would make more sense. Um, I think it's just Dallas that I'm thinking of because the Dallas Cowboys, Dallas, which is in Texas, is in a division called the East Division. So Texas is not East, not even close. So the other teams in the East Division are the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Redskins. So those work for East. Um, so the NFC, this is the NFC. So the NFC North Division is Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. That's fine. Um, South, the South Division is Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. That makes sense. The West Division is Arizona, St. Louis, San Francisco, and Seattle. St. Louis isn't too far west, though. They can only do so much, though, with the teams that they have. So that's the NFC. In the AFC, the East Division is Buffalo, Miami, New England, and the New York Jets. So Miami is much farther away. You could say they're like they're a South team, but I guess they're still East. So I guess that's fine. Uh, the AFC North Division is Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. That's not too bad. Um, the West Division is Denver, Kansas City, Oakland, and San Diego. Yeah, some of these teams have moved since this too. Uh, like I think the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, and the Chargers and the Rams moved to Los Angeles. I haven't watched sports in a while though. That was the last I heard, but that was years ago. Okay, so the West Division that's not too bad, but okay, so here's the other one. Here's the other one that doesn't make sense. This is the AFC South. The AFC South. Houston, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and Tennessee. I'm remembering the thing on Sesame Street about which one of these doesn't belong. Indianapolis. I do not consider Indianapolis south geographically. So that does not make sense having Indianapolis in a South division. So you have Indianapolis that does not belong, that shouldn't belong in a South division. And then you have uh, Dallas, which shouldn't belong in a division called East. So wouldn't the obvious thing to do would be to switch the two that don't belong because uh, Indianapolis, you could call that East. It's on the eastern half of the United States, Indianapolis. And then Dallas is south. So if you switch those two teams right there, it would make so much more sense. So you'd have the Indianapolis in the division with the Giants, Philadelphia, and Washington, and Dallas in the division with Houston, their neighbor, Jacksonville, and Tennessee. So that would make much more sense geographically. But yeah, these owners and fans too, they want to keep the rivalries that they've had for a long time. So that's part of the issue there. So I'm sure that will never happen. They'll never switch those teams. They don't want to make too much sense. They want to make dollars, many dollars, but not cents. Um, Owens has career day. I don't know if I want to read this. No, I don't want to read this. I'll show his picture here though, the photo. I hated that guy, Terrell Owens. He was obnoxious. He was an obnoxious player. Minnesota running back Robert Smith, lower center, is smothered by Green Bay's Nate Wayne, left Cletus Hunt, and Leroy Butler as he gained a tough 3 yards for a fourth quarter first down Sunday at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The Packers beat the Vikings 33-28. Good.